A Court of Fairies and Fiction. Akafath Girls Podcast. Hosts Mel, Liv, Aka, and Lily. A bookish theory and discussion podcast for the Akatar, Crescent City, and Hug series, as well as our Fable Book Club reads. Author Spotlight Interview, Tessonja Odette, the Fae Flings and Corset Strings series.
Hello, everybody. We are back, and today we have our first author interview, Tessonja Odette. We are so excited to have you on. Your two books from the Fae Flings series were two of our favorite reads of the year. We kept talking about them over and over, and so we're so happy to have you here. How are you today?
I'm good, and I'm happy to be here as well.
When we got to the end of My Feral Romance, I was flipping through and I was like, oh my God, there's more books in this world. We have to do the rest of the books. Because we didn't realize that at first. We're like, oh, it's like an ongoing series, and we were super excited, but now we have so many more to read before the third book comes out.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole wider world of Fae. There's like, I think 12 books total, and then Elegance and Espionage, I believe, is the 13th one, or maybe it's the 12th one. Ooh. I don't know. I can't count half the time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. How did we miss that? We just saw Fae Flings and Corset Strings. How did we miss these other books?
I know.
They're all different vibes, because the first trilogy is upper YA, and it's definitely like a read in order trilogy, angsty, like enemies to lovers. And then my next five, or then I have a standalone that kind of bridges the trilogy to my next five, which is Entangled with Fae, and those ones are my fairy tale retellings, which are more new adult. And then Fae Flings is very firmly adult. So some people are like, oh, I don't want to read the YA ones. Right. But like that's where all the world building is. So some readers are like, well, I need to know the world building. Like, I feel like the world building is really light. I'm like, no, trust me. Like, I've been writing these books for like, this is the like 10th book that you've read. But like, there's like so much more world building. So I'm like if you want the world building, you have to read the YA, okay? Otherwise, just take my word for it.
Yeah. Well, the thing that got me is like, oh, Monty set up this friend before in this book, and I was like, what? No. So I'm definitely gonna see that one, because that anything with more Monty.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Love it. Love Monty. Love it so much.
But anyway, let's get started, Olivia.
Yes. So our first question is, we would like to know a little bit about you, and I know our audience does too, because we love your books so much. How long have you been an author for? And kind of tell us about that.
Yeah, so I published my first book in 2017, but I wrote my first book in 2002, and that's actually the first book that I published. So it took me about 15 years to rewrite that book and just work on it for a really long time until I felt like I was ready to publish. And back in 2002, there was a lot less information for even how to get published. And pretty much the main thing was traditional publishing. And even that was really hard to get information on, like how to do it. It was just such a more isolated, like writing a book back then and publishing a book was such a way more isolated thing. And I would get really overwhelmed and like not even want to like it just seemed like so much. And so I would get really discouraged, and I would get discouraged about the writing process. And every time I came to like a part in my book where I was like, I don't know what's going to happen next or whatever, like some kind of self-doubt type thing, I'd be like, oh, I'm just a bad writer. Like
imposter syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. And so I kept putting it aside and then coming back to it. And then finally in 2017 is when I started making more connections and started reading more about self-publishing and trad publishing, kind of finding like where I wanted to go with that. And that's when things started to make more sense. And when resources were so much more available for me, I'm like, oh, wow, okay, this is a way different landscape than it was back in 2002. And so I published that first book in 2017. That first trilogy I ended up unpublishing, rewriting, and republishing it. So and that ended up being like, I spent a lot of time on that first trilogy.
Okay, wait, and now what was the name of the first trilogy so that we know, so we could go back and read it?
Yeah. So the first trilogy, which I don't recommend reading the very, very first one. It's the Shadows of Layla is the first book, and it's a Layla trilogy. But I rewrote it after I'd gotten into my groove as an author and understanding my style. I rewrote that series of Prophecy of the Forgotten Fae. And the first book is A Throne of Shadows. So that's like the version, that's like the author's,
Okay.
the director's cut.
Yeah.
And like if you
Like
I
Tessonja's
don't
version.
yeah, exactly. Like the original ones are unpublished, but some people still have them. And I think it's really cool when people want to collect them. But as far as like what I care about for quality, I'm like, no, this is the version of this book that I've always wanted it to be. My original ones, I'm not ashamed of them, but it just doesn't reflect the writer that I am today.
So I have the special edition omnibus, and I actually had my friend favorite books, FAE, favorite books on Instagram. She does like edge painting, so she painted the edges for me of like the main characters.
That.
Yeah,
yes, those are so
I was
cool.
so excited. I was like, I can't wait. Oh my gosh.
So you have the director's cut, so you're good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I think I have the right ones.
Yeah.
But do you have any advice for aspiring authors? I'm actually like 3.5 years into my first draft of my first book, and like 178,000 words already. So do you have any advice for like anyone that wants to be an author, whether it be indie or trad?
Yeah, and first, if you hear any weird sounds, it is my cat. It is my cat knocking things over in the background because my office is also his room. So just a little caveat, we'll just pretend we don't hear that in the background when he's trying to be naughty.
Your little helper, it's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so my advice for authors is the thing that helped me the most, and I kind of like touched on this just a tiny bit, which is, and I guess I basically said like find your the resources are better now, but my most important resource for me was connection with other authors. And so the thing that helped me most was finding a group of other writers who are writing in the same genre as me, who were in the same place writing wise. Like they were like, maybe they'd published like 1 or 2 books or were getting ready to publish or whatever. Like we were at the same place in our careers and had the same goals of where we wanted to go. Those are the 3 things that I think are important, is like same, like somewhat genre, and then same starting place where you're at right now, and then similar goals of where you want to go, because that way you guys can grow together and that you're not just like getting random advice from this person who has a completely different goal than you, or who's writing in a completely different genre, and like pooling those resources together. Like if one person's like, oh, I've been trying to figure out like what's the best thing for this, and it's like, oh, I actually have been researching this for like 2 years, here's what I've learned, and someone be like, well, neither of us know this, let's go together, like figure this out, pool our resources, and talk about what we've learned. That was the biggest thing that brought me from, and I didn't find this like main group of mine until I think I'd already published at least 1 book. But trying to like, having that group helped me grow to the next stage and like level up. And we still are in contact. We still have our like a weekly meeting that we talk about like like industry things, and like we support each other. So it's so important to have that, because writing can be lonely. Like I said, back in 2002, I could not, it was so overwhelming to do it alone. So that's always my number one advice. I think Discord is like a really good, like there's a lot of writing groups on Discord and everything, too, Instagram groups, things like that. So it does seem a lot easier to connect with people than it would have been in 2002.
Well, and that's kind of the perfect segue. So we know that being an author you're so good at it, and we love everything you do. But if you weren't an author, what would you be?
If I wasn't an author and I could pick like literally any career, it would be a voice actor. I would love to be a voice actor for anime or any kind of animated media, especially if it's a musical. Like if I could sing in a character's voice, that would be so fun. I don't have a talent for it. This is not a skill that I currently have, but that's like the dream. Like if I had like a different universe version of me somewhere out there is a voice actor.
I love that so much. And also like I would love to hear you actually voice act your characters, because I want to see like how you play them out, with their emotions, because they're so fun. So
yeah,
it sounds a lot funner than it actually is, because I'm not talented at all. But sometimes I'm like, oh, it'd be really fun. Like, what if I recorded like a scene and I'll start to like do? I'm like, oh wow, no, this is really awkward. There's no way. There's absolutely no way I can do this.
That's so funny. It's funny because I've gotten like DMs and comments, and they were like, "Oh, have you ever thought of being a voice actor?" And I was like, first of all, I hate my voice. I think it's super annoying. And second of all, I'm a dispatcher. I have to listen to my voice all day. I would rather not listen to it playback if I don't have to. So like, no, that's not ever gonna happen. I'd rather be behind the scenes like I am with the okay. But another question, how long does it normally take you to write a book? Because like I said, I'm on like 3.5 almost years, and I'm like, I feel like that's so long, but it's my first, so.
And my first book took me 15 years. I mean, the first draft, I will say my first draft was really fast, but it was really bad. It was like ridiculously bad. So it took me 15 years to write the second draft because I would put it aside for like so many months. And by the time I went back, I'm like, I'm a better writer now. I'm just going to rewrite and edit this. So like you're already writing it faster than I wrote my first book. But these days I write pretty fast, but it took me a while to get into my zone. I'm also a full-time writer, so that's like I have that's all
the goal here, you know.
But I'm actually trying to slow down because I used to write a book in about every 3 months or every 4 months, or I'd publish about every 4 months, and I got burnt out like really fast. And I'm actually trying to slow down, which so right now I write about every 4 to 6 months, like one book for 4 to 6 months, which is and that's the fact
pretty
that
fast.
It is still pretty fast. And the fact that I'm currently in a traditionally published contract, which I know we'll talk about in a little bit, but that like those are specific deadlines, and that has made me slow down because there's a lot more rounds of edits. And so I like this whole year I'm not releasing a single thing this year aside from that omnibus that we talked about, the special edition omnibus or whatever, but that was just published work. So this is the first year since I've started publishing that I have nothing releasing in a year, which is crazy. But it has helped me slow down, and it has helped me prioritize like my like mental health, because I was getting really burnt out. And I'd finish a book and I'd put the next one on pre-order, and then like, okay, now you're stuck to like this pre-order thing because Amazon cancels your pre-orders if you push it back. So I'm slowing down, and I like it. So 4 to 6 months is kind of my current thing right now, but I generally write about a chapter a day. I try to aim for like 5 chapters a week. That's my goal. But of course, this is like after like a really long time of figuring out my process and knowing how fast I can write. And some weeks I don't write anything. Some weeks I write 2 chapters. Some weeks I write 8. So
my issue is like with my chapters, they're all like almost 5,000 words. And I'm like, I feel like people are going to hate my really long chapter. So it'll take me like a week to write a whole chapter.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. The long chapters take like so much more out of me too.
Because it's like I'm in the middle of it and I'm in the thick of it, and then I'm just like, well, I can't just randomly stop it like in the middle, you know. And with all the POVs and everything, it's crazy. But but couple questions for you. So we did hear that you have a new book coming out called The Lies That Summon the Night, which I've already pre-ordered like 3 versions. Because I love them. But how would you describe it in 3 words? And is there anything you can say about it without spoilers?
Yeah, so my 3 words I would say is adult dark fantasy. And then the basic like spoiler-free premise is that this is it is set in a world where art is illegal, and the main female character is a fugitive storyteller. The main male character is a shadow hunter, so he hunts these sentient shadows who are attracted to sin. And in this world, art is one of the like deadly sins. And so, but he uses an artist to perform to attract the monster so that he can hunt them. So he makes a deal with Anana that actually it's more of an ultimatum. He says like, serve me or I'm going to collect your bounty. Like, you're a fugitive. I'm going to turn you over for your bounty, or serve me and you have a job. So that's kind of where it starts.
Oh my
in the
gosh.
first 2 chapters.
I'm so excited.
I really love it.
Like the forced proximity enemies to lovers.
Yeah. And there's found family. So there's some really lovable side characters. There's a shadow dog. And then there's spicy
Ooh.
shadows. The dog is not involved in anything spicy. So anyone who's who hears oh, I heard this book has some spicy shadow action, don't worry, the dog's a good boy. He stays out of it.
Thank goodness. So were you writing that book at the same time you were writing the Elegance and Espionage, or did you start them at different times?
I only recently started Elegance and Espionage this month, the end of last month.
Okay.
So I had it planned and I had it plotted at the end of last year. So December is when My Feral Romance came out, and that's kind of when I plotted Elegance and Espionage before that, but I started writing the Lies That Summoned the Night right after I finished My Feral Romance, because at that point I was like, I need a break. So I'm a mood reader. I'm also a mood writer. I'd been writing cozy, fluffy fantasy rom-coms for kind of a long time at that point. And I was like I really want to write dark fantasy, and I'd written that Prophecy of the Forgotten Fae series is kind of that dark fantasy, but it's upper YA. So it's like there's certain things that it's a different thing.
Really right in there,
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I was just craving writing something darker, like an actual dark fantasy
for adults.
I want to write vampires, and I want to write I just want to, because I really liked pushing things a little bit in the Fae Flings and Corset string series, because that was my first adult series. So I'm like, okay, I don't have to hold myself back as much. I'm like, well, I'd like to do that, but for dark fantasy this time. And so I followed my my mood cravings, and then that book ended up taking off when we submitted it for traditional publishing. And then I had to set aside my plans for Elegance and Espionage for a while, so I'm writing that one now. So I'm kind of flipping back between I've written book 1 and 2 in my dark fantasy series. Now I'm writing the third book in the Fae Flings series.
Yay.
Oh my gosh. We are so excited. I mean, I know we're getting to it later, but is it Araminta? Is that how you say it?
Araminta.
Yeah.
Araminta. She is such an amazing character, just so funny to me. So I'm craving that third book. Not wait.
Oh, I'm glad.
It feels like it might be the Grumpy Sunshine.
It's gonna be Grumpy Sunshine for sure.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's the cop. He's definitely the grump.
Yep.
So, talking a little bit about that series, what was your inspiration for the Fae Flings series?
So that series started kind of in a similar place that I was talking about a second ago with the mood writing. I was writing A Dream So Wicked, and at that point that's book 5 in my fairy tale retelling series, and I was getting burnt out on fairy tales.
Yeah.
And I love fairy tales. I love writing them, but it is different because you have to keep in mind certain tropes for fairy tales. So you do have kind of an outline, or at least these key points. You can't just go off the rails and do something completely different, or else it's not going to feel like a fairy tale retelling. It's just its own book, which is fine. But I had to write fairy tale retellings, and I really wanted to write, I had those 5 in mind that I really wanted to write. And I was like, well, I'm not really done playing in the Fairway world. I still want to play there. I still like these cozy, fluffy rom-coms. I'm like, what if it was cozy-er? What if it was fluffy-er? But what if it was spicier? And what if it was just ridiculous and chaos, and I didn't hold myself back, and it was just going to be the most me book ever? And so I was already feeling that way. I was feeling that's what I wanted to write next. And I was just daydreaming one day, and I was just thinking about all these fun things. And I was thinking about Curse of the Wolf King, which is my Beauty and the Beast retelling in the Entangled with Fae series. That one has the main character. Her name is Gemma. So she's the bookish belle type character. Her favorite, she likes reading steamy romance, and her favorite author is an unnamed author in that book. And I was thinking about the unnamed author, and I was like, how funny would it be if that author got to visit Fairway and have an adventure that was like the book she writes about. And then it took off. My brain was just and I was already writing A Dream So Wicked. So I was like, but Monty, because I already knew Monty was going to get his own story. I knew Monty was going to happily ever after. And I was like, but Monty is going to play a similar role that he played in A Dream So Wicked, and he's going to be an absolute menace to this couple. And then book 2, he's going to get his happily ever after. So this was all just a daydream, and I was like, I'm going to write this next. So that's how I got that idea for that series. It was going to be very similar to Entangled with Fae, but just I was just going to have less restraints, so no fairy tale retellings, and it was going to be adult, and it was going to be spicy, and it was just going to be fun. But I was still going to connect it to a couple cameo characters here and there. So that's how that series was born.
No, that's really funny, because I'm definitely a mood reader too. So actually the first special edition of yours that I got was the Curse of the Wolf King one.
Oh,
from your Etsy. And I was like so excited. And then like I was going to read it. And then I was like, oh, but I really want to read her cozy one first. I didn't know they were connected at the time. So then we read those two for book club. And then I was like, oh my God, it's connected. I should have read it first.
Well, the good thing is that like I always connect my books very loosely so that it's more of a treat. So people can start anywhere they want. I mean, people can even start anywhere they want in the Fae Flings series. I feel like those ones work better read in order.
Yeah.
But like they still don't have to be. But like I like to make it so that anyone could read this book and they're not like confused by a cameo character. They're just like, oh, cool, character, random, whatever. But if you read all the books, then you start making the connections and it's a fun treat.
I love connections.
I loved it. And even in My Feral Romance, the first one, it's Queen Gemma, right? From the first book. Okay. The way that you explained her, I love that you kind of tied it in. You know what I mean? Like I knew that Queen Gemma was important in a previous book from how you described her in My Feral Romance. And so I was like, okay, that was perfectly, you know, like you just put her in so well. It was so flawless and like really a smooth insert. So kudos to you on writing that so well.
Oh, thank you.
So how would you describe, I know you kind of already did, but how else would you describe the Fae Flings series in your own words?
My like basic pitch, this comes across at like events where people are like, what is this book about? I usually just say it is a rom-com plot in a fantasy world. This is not high fantasy. There are no wars. There are no high stakes. It's literally like, it's for readers who love contemporary rom-coms, but also fantasy and want to see it in one book, but also they like Regency. So I also describe it as Bridgerton if there were Fae, because that's literally all it is. Each book is about a different couple. It just centers around one couple. There's kind of a Bridgerton-esque world. Technically, mine is not Regency. Mine is inspired by Regency, but also Victorian and Edwardian. I take very heavy liberties with my world building. I do not stick to one era. But I do think that people who like Regency romance like this series as well. So it's kind of combines people who love historical romance, contemporary rom-coms, and fantasy, but want something that's just like a cozy, fluffy, fun thing. There's no wars. You don't have to get sucked into a whole series. You can literally read one and be like, I'm never reading another Tessonja book again. That's the only one I'm ever going to read, and that's fine. You can do that if you want.
Multiple genres here, people.
I have to say too, because we have been reading a lot of like kind of high fantasy and book club, and we're used to that, you know. And after a while, I don't know if you feel this way as an author, but it starts to kind of get exhausting, right? Because you get so sucked in and involved in these characters, and you know something bad's gonna happen, and it's gonna hurt a lot. And so coming to Fae Flings and Corset Strings, it was like, oh my gosh, I can enjoy this, and I know I'm not gonna have my heart ripped out, but I'm so into the story, and it's so comforting. It's just
there's still just enough angst.
Yes, and it was like, how is this gonna play out? Like, I can't wait to see what happens. So it's the perfect level of like, it's calm, it's fun, it's an exciting read. We loved it. It's so good.
Yay! I'm so glad.
My question to you though is, what is your favorite court? And is it fair? How do you pronounce it?
I pronounce it Fairway.
Fairway. Okay, in Fairway.
My favorite, so I have two, which is spring or autumn, and those are like my favorite seasons as well, just from real life. And the way that I have spring and autumn set up, which autumn is hugely in the Fair Isle trilogy. That's the main court, so I got to hang out in there a lot. So like some of the later books, we haven't really returned back there, but I love the autumn court because I just see it as like, so I have lived in like a few different places around Washington State, but one of them is Issaquah, and Issaquah is super mountainy. Like you just get to see the seasons change. I live in a different city now where I don't get to see that as much, but like I kind of based it on like a city like that, or like a city like there's Leavenworth where there's like you get to see all the fall colors, and I just like that would be in autumn court. It would look like that all the time, and you get to see all the different colors. So you'd see like red Japanese maples, and you'd get to see like yellows and oranges over here. And it's just like, I just love autumn. I love October, and I mean, my birthday's also on Halloween, so it's just like,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so autumn court is definitely like
birthday.
Oh, thank you. But autumn court's an easy choice. I also really love spring because I love blossoms. I love blossom season. It's sad that they like kind of spring and autumn are kind of similar in that they like the things that make me feel really cozy. They don't last that long. The like petals fall, the fall leaves fall. And so spring is similar where like it's just always blossoms, like fruit blossoms, and like just always in bloom. And that just sounds so beautiful. Also, I like very medium weather. I do not like it too hot and I do not like it too cold. So spring and autumn are like, okay, I'm going to be comfortable. I'm going to be cozy. I'm going to be wearing some layers and some cute jackets. Both of those I'm going to be comfortable and I'm going to have like such pretty scenery.
There is no mid-weather in Boston. It is one extreme to the next. But I do have the fall leaves, so there's that.
There you go.
Little random question that I came up with when you were talking about that. Would there be any other court that you're like kind of interested in, like, oh, maybe I should delve into this one more, or maybe I should delve into this one more? Is there any that you like have little ideas about or wanted to delve into a little more?
I think that I have visited in all the books so far. I feel like I visited every single court by now. And I think the one that I most recently that I had to like really think about, Wind Court was new in A Rivalry of Hearts, so I had to get creative on that. And then we went to Solar, and that one was a new one too, because I have Solar and I have Summer, and then I have Fire, so those are kind of ones that kind of give you the same vibes, but each one needs to be distinct. And so Solar was fun because I based it off of my trip to Florence. So some of the visuals, I was like, okay, so that's what's different between that. And then like, so those ones were kind of the more recent ones. I'm like, I want to build these out more because I think all of the other ones I have built out in previous books. Maybe the only one I haven't really is Summer, but I have been there in, I think, Married by Scandal. We're there, and then maybe briefly at the end of. So that's one that I'm like, I'm not really like, I don't know why I'm not excited about Summer Court. I like Summer. Summer is nice, but I guess I just haven't really felt like I want to go there and play. Connected. And that's kind of like when I take like, plus this series, Fae Flings and Corset string series ended up being very heavily circulating around the Earthen Court just because of where the main characters live. And so it's kind of kept me rooted in one place. For that series. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe someday if I return to Fairway in the future, maybe I should probably go hang out in Summer Court. I don't know why I don't want to.
I get it. I feel the same way kind of about Summer. It's just like, I don't know. We've all experienced.
It's fun. Yeah, like I think I'd have to be really inspired. Like I'd need to go somewhere or see something where I'm like, wow, this is Summer, but like magical. And I haven't seen that yet. Like I feel like I need to see Summer in a different way than just like Summer in Seattle. We're going to the beach and like it's really hot and I'm sweating and I'm like really just want to go inside.
Okay, so I have a recommendation for you. Have you been to Capri, Italy?
No, I've only been to Florence.
If I know this is like if you get the chance, okay, you should totally go to Capri during summer. I have to say, as someone who was born and raised in Arizona, it is the most beautiful summer I have ever seen in my entire life, and that could work as inspiration.
Ooh. So okay, good to know.
Yeah, it's an
I'll keep that in mind.
It'll
be a tax write-off. I'll just go on a Capri vacation and write it off.
We'll getting a tiny credit at the end of that Summer Court book.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Have a limoncello for me while you're there. Think of me. I love it. Okay, so now we kind of want to talk about some of the characters in Fae Flings and Corset Strings. What were there specific inspirations for your characters, or were they just pure imagination?
Most of my characters for the series are just plain imagination, especially since a couple of them carried over. Like Monty, he was from A Dream So Wicked, so he just moved on over. But I will say Edwina and William were very much Anne and Gilbert coded from Anne of Green Gables. Like I really love
dedication. I knew it.
Yeah. And like I knew I didn't want to write a retelling that was going to be very important for me. Like I'm not writing a retelling, okay? But when I started thinking about Edwina's character, she just felt so much like Anne. And I love Anne. She's like one of my biggest heroes. She helped me feel like so seen as a child. And even as an adult, I'm like, I feel even more seen now because I relate to Anne on like an even deeper level with like neurodivergent. Like that girl is neurodivergent, like you know it. And I'm like, okay, girl, same. We have a similar brain length. So I just felt like that was she was such a good inspiration for for Edwina, and I was like, okay, but what would Edwina be like? What would Edwina like working on this Anne archetype? What would she be like as an adult? And like, what would she be like if she had even less of a filter? And like, so yeah, they're very, and I did throw in a couple of like pretty subtle Easter eggs. There's like, especially because the version, it was like 1995 or something. There was a mini series version, and I read that right before I wrote this because I'm like, I want to put some of that heart into it.
Awesome.
And so there's a couple little scenes, like when there's a scene where Gilbert gives a standing ovation to Anne after she's making she does like a reading, and I have a little hint to that in A Rivalry of Hearts, where he gives her a standing ovation after she does a reading. So there's some little teeny tiny things like that like
scene. Yeah,
where it's not like enough to be a retelling, but it's enough for it to be like just a little love letter to like one of my favorite book characters.
Anne and Gil. Yeah, from like the Anne cartoons to like Anne with an E. I like ate all of that up.
Yeah.
Whatever. I was so sad that didn't get renewed, by the way, but you know.
At least they ended with like, I was getting so stressed out during that final season. I'm like, I've never been so invested in like two teenagers to just like kiss and talk to each other. So at least we got like a kiss. I'm like, okay, that we made it that far. At least we got that.
Yeah, but then I was like, okay, so the little notes are like the letters that they sent each other, and I was eating that up. I loved that so much. And then when Monty's like, I bought it at the auction, I was like, he's such a sweetheart. He's a romantic.
But also, I loved William. I loved how he, when I first read him, like, teasing her by calling her Weenie, I was like, what in the world? And then I read it again, I was like, I love this so much. The banter.
I love
and he was, and like, for William, too, he's this tall, right? He's kind of like this tall, dark, and handsome, blue-eyed Fae. I love he has like a dangly earring, right? Oh my God. He was so hot. Loved it.
Yeah. In terms of those characters, who did you find the easiest to write versus the most difficult to write?
So I didn't expect any of them, like anyone, to be very difficult. So Edwina was the easiest, and that whole book was easy. That book was just so much fun, and just like some books are super easy for me to write, and some books are super hard. And like the end result is funny because like you'd think that readers would be like, oh yeah, I could tell this one was hard for you. But no, that never happens. Like readers like, this one's so good. I'm like, I'm glad you think that because it was really hard. But A Rivalry of Hearts was super easy, and My Fae Romance was very hard. And a lot of people say that My Fae Romance is like their favorite of the two. So I'm like, okay, that's good. Sometimes the struggle is
so good.
It's not a bad sign. So that's another thing I remind myself. If I'm writing a book and it feels really hard, it's not a bad sign. It doesn't mean readers are going to hate it. It's just for some reason it's just harder. And one of the reasons I think that one was so hard is because I'd always planned for Monty to be the love interest in that one. He was going to get his happily ever after, but I didn't know Daphne was going to be his love interest until the tavern scene in A Rivalry of Hearts where they're bantering and she says that she would weep over his remains. And I was like, oh, whoa, okay. This go. So I'd already had brainstormed his plot. And with just like a female character, I was like, okay, this is like, okay, she's gonna have this, and I had this different plot, and Daphne didn't fit in that, so I had to write something new. And there were all these little plots that I had. Like I was gonna like he was always gonna be a matchmaker, but originally it was gonna be someone who worked with him, and she like had a crush on their boss, and he was gonna help matchmake her with her boss. And like none of this is working for Daphne. Like this is not Daphne's was like,
story. No, this is my man.
And so I had to rewrite a lot of stuff because I'd set it up, and I'm like, okay, but Daphne wouldn't make that decision. So it was really difficult because I'm like, I know Daphne and I know what she would and wouldn't do. And the plot that I'm trying to make her do, it's not working. So I had to fiddle with the beginning of that one a lot. But then once I got it like nailed in and really like found her motivations for like why they were going to do what they were going to do, then it started to flow. It was still hard. That one was one that was a struggle through the entire thing. And it was like, I love how it turned out, but it was just, it was a hard book. And Daphne was a hard character. Also, because I kept trying to make her do things that I didn't want her to do. Like, it definitely showed like a lot of, I also put like a lot of myself in her character. And it was sides that I don't really like writing about. So it was really vulnerable too. So it was like, it was basically therapy, the book.
Yeah. I mean, it did seem very natural, like the way that he just kind of knew like her little quirks and like all this stuff and kind of like adjusted to them super easily. Like it wasn't ever an issue for him. It was just so sweet. I did really love that book so much.
Oh.
I completely agree with that. And the thing I love, we had this really long conversation the other night, the four of us, about Daphne as a character. Mm-hmm. And we were kind of talking about, you know, Edwina was very much, I loved Edwina. She was awesome. She's very headstrong, you know, and
no filter.
No filter. And she was very confident. And the thing I like about your characters is the women are very confident. And like Daphne was unashamed to be herself, right? That's how I read her as, and I don't know if you can attest to that. But like even the way that she talked to people, like we were talking about, she went up to that. What was his name? The guy that in the break room, and she was like, "I'm ready for our drink."
Brad, yeah,
Brad. Fucking Brad. Our drink, like I asked you 2 months ago, and she, you know, just her mannerisms were so funny to us because we were like. So she is it seems like she's neurodivergent. I don't know if you could speak on that. And she was the perfect character for that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but she's like also like not ashamed to like kind of like walk around in like risque clothing and you know, like not afraid of her body.
She's like, okay, I just need a naked man because my naked body is perfect for the females. I just need inspiration for a naked man.
That's definitely like a part that I didn't take for myself. There's like so many parts that are like very much me, and same with Edwina.
And, like
Edwina
Daphne.
and Daphne are both me, and they're both two very different sides of me. One of them I feel like is the way people perceive me, which is Edwina, which is more like. Because when I'm socializing, I'm like, I'm charismatic, I'm bubbly, I'm like trying to like, you know, I'm
very confident.
In neurodivergent terms, I'm high masking in those moments. And then with Daphne, I showed a little bit more of like the inner me, the me that people don't really see. Some struggles with social situations, some like kind of not really like reading the room at times and like experiencing rejection from like social situations, stuff like that. So that was like another side of me that I showed as well. So, but then there's a bunch of parts of them. So I'm like, when people know that, I'm like, please do not assume that like everything about either of those characters is also me, because there's a lot that I do not relate to. I made it up because it's funny for their characters.
Yes. I loved how, you know, Monty just shows up after and he just scares the shit out of Brad.
Doing
that to her. Even though like, granted, he was kind of in the right for rejecting her, right? He was engaged. I was like, granted, 2 months. Wow, Brad. Okay. But like, granted, he was engaged. But then I was like, I just loved Monty because like he doesn't care. The rejection hurt her, and that's what he cares about.
Yeah, exactly.
And like Brad trying to talk to Monty, and Monty's like, "Fuck off, Brad!" Like,
Brad. We've all wanted to say that to a coworker.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck off, Brad.
It was so good, but also I loved how Daphne, and this is really funny to me. I'm curious how you came up with this. She's from that little village, right? And she shifts between her human form and her animal form, right? And her love interest in the other village, is it Clyde? Was that his name?
I'm like, I have to actually think about that. Yeah,
yes,
Clyde. Clyde. Yeah.
So kind of the plot twist with Clyde at the end made me laugh so hard. How did you come up with that? Like how he's engaged, right? Daphne's worried about this engagement in this little village, but it turns out he was already married to someone else. How did you come up with that little plot twist?
I knew that it was going to wrap up pretty nicely because like these books are like, that's just what they're meant to do. And so I'm like, okay, how can this
already solved?
Yeah, like, because I need Daphne's side needs to be very like, this needs to feel like a big deal to her. But then also I'm not gonna have them like have this like all depressing where she breaks some guy's heart at the end. Like I'm not doing that either. So I'm like, I don't know. It just kind of all came together, and like I have the vision of the like knife wielding marmot like from the beginning, and I'm like, they're gonna get chased out of town by his wife. Like how dare you make a move on my man?
He kind of got got the wrong end of the stick with his wife anyway.
Like Clyde was like eating it up. He was loving that this woman was feral like, over him.
Man.
Yeah.
I love that. Really quickly, just because we're on the subject of the characters, the prologue broke our hearts before you mended them. We would talk about the prologue for so long because we're like, oh, Monty, no, what are you doing? But then it's like, in his own head, it's like, okay, well, I have this really crappy family life and this is going on and I shouldn't have said that. But then it's like, she doesn't know that and she's so in love with you. And it's like, she just wanted to hang out and you're like, no, bye, Daff. And I'm like, oh, man. So how did you decide that it was going to be like, oh, a year later they meet up after the prologue? Or did you write?
I'm not actually sure why I decided that, because I knew that they were going to have a connection in A Rivalry of Hearts very briefly, because it couldn't, it needed to still, book 2 needed to be a standalone. So it couldn't be something that if people didn't read book 1, they'd miss out on. But I knew they'd have a little connection at least. So readers would start being like, oh, that's a, they're going to be the next couple. But I'm not sure why or when I decided to do the time skip. I don't know. It might have just been because I might have had a different idea for why, and then I was like, oh, I'm stuck in the time skip now because I wrote that into the epilogue, so I had to make the epilogue the prologue. So I'm not exactly sure why I chose to do the time skip, but it did work out. It did. It gave them. It also gave Daphne the time she needed to get into some trouble, which helped set up the plot for that whole book.
I when she got really hurt when he kept calling her pet, I was like, just shut your mouth. Just stop talking. Stop. Because like you said, in A Rivalry of Hearts, when she woke up on his chest and I was like, it's them. The next one is them. And then he's like, oh, like a little pet. And I was like, oh, foot and mouth syndrome, dude. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't take too many steps farther in that book, otherwise we wouldn't have book 2.
I know.
So they had to have the 3 steps back.
I did really, really love the callback to the yellow dress, though.
Oh,
Oh, I know. I love that scene so much.
The best. That was the best.
It was the best. Yeah. Where do you get, okay, so for the interiors in your scenes, right? Like, because when you describe the courts and just really the interiors of any of the scenes in the book. So, I remember I think it was A Rivalry of Hearts, right? Where they go at the end towards that, it's like a tree hotel, right?
Yeah.
And they're sitting, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool how she describes it. Yeah. Or even where were they when
the library with the people that were floating on the wind? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We love that scene, how creative that they would be up on that wind, getting their books from there, or the university they went to. I loved that too. And the Winter Court, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So how do you come up with the interiors for all of your different scenes?
Well, I have a hard time writing any scene if I'm not visually rooted in it, because I have to know how everything works. I have to know where every single thing is so that I can see what they're doing and not write about any of those details. I do write about many of those details, but I see it so much more in my head. I need to know where the doors are, where the windows are, what are they made of, for me to feel comfortable in a scene to even write it, or otherwise I just feel unmoored, and I just feel like I can't write, it just doesn't feel right, and I just have a really hard time. So I have to really, and same thing with clothing. Usually I know exactly what their clothing looks like, even if maybe on the page I only describe it as a blouse and a skirt or whatever, because not everybody wants to know every detail I like to know about. But so I do build them out in my head, and I want to make sure I give enough details so that other people can also see it, and so it can feel really visceral. Because also when I'm as a reader, that's how I am too. If I'm reading a scene, I'm I just don't really understand though, what does the inside of a blah 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 or whatever look like? I just don't get it. What is this place? And so I try to do that without getting carried away, because I can get carried away because I like details and I like to know like everything.
Everything.
So, but yeah, I do build it out. Sometimes if it's from my imagination, I have to just play for a while and be like, okay, but what would make this like really fun? Because it like, especially for anything that's in more of like the Fae world, like because there's kind of human cities and then there's Fae cities, but like there's a level of whimsy and like I want it to be different and unique and fun and to feel very Fae. And so when it comes to that, I have to use a lot of my imagination and just try and think like what would make this more whimsical. And then for the more like society type settings, I will a lot of times I'll look up pictures like what does a ballroom and like what does an Edwardian ballroom look like? Where a historical, like what did the very first department stores look like? What did the walls look like? Where are things? So I will look up historical pictures or at least like reproductions of them or maybe sets from like movies or shows or something just to get
awesome.
Because some of those details are like all you need like maybe all you need to talk about is like that they had like wood paneling and like certain wallpaper or something. That's enough I feel like for readers. So I need to know that as well.
That's really cool. So big question, because we all want to know, of course.
Hi, kitty cat.
Hi, cat.
I don't know what he's doing behind me, but he sounds like he's causing trouble.
So do you know or have you planned a specific number of books in this series?
So I've always planned on 3. So from the beginning, I mean, as I said, I came to this knowing there was going to be 2, and like 2 just didn't seem right. Like I was like 2 seems like it's just not enough. I don't know. I feel like there needs to be 3. So I knew there was going to be 3, even if I was like, I'm not going to know who that character is until book 2, because that's just like I know my patterns in Entangled with Fae. I met the next character in that book I didn't know who was going to be Entangled with Fae actually started similarly where I knew who the main like love interest for book 1 and 2 was going to be. Like book 2, both of those characters come from the Fair Isle trilogy. So, and book 2 is one that was like highly requested by readers, like the number 1 reader favorite from that trilogy.
Wow.
I knew they were going to be the first 2, but then I was like, I don't really know who the other characters are going to be, but I'm sure I'll meet them. I'm sure I'll like, meet them on the page. And that's kind of what happened with Araminta. I have no idea who's gonna be like in this next one, but then I met Araminta. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the one. So I always plan for 3. So 3 is the most that I have planned for. I'm not going to write any after that I can think of, but the series is just like Entangled with Fae. They are open-ended because, they're standalone. So if I want to return, I can, but I don't have plans to. Like I plan to end it at 3, and then I have my trad series I need to focus on anyways. And as you guys have learned on this podcast, I'm a mood writer. So like, I don't know what I'm going to want to write after I finish that. Like, am I going to want to keep writing cozy, or am I going to have a whole nother dark fantasy idea? I don't know. So
that's really funny
committing
because
to 3.
one of Eka's questions was like, would she ever write like a Christmas Yule theme novella in the series with like the couples already together and all of this stuff? And I was like, I don't know, I can ask her.
I wish I liked doing things like that because I feel like in theory they sound really fun, but as I've learned about my writing process, once I move on from a character, especially if it's a couple, I don't really want to go back. Like I want to go and like meet the next couple, meet the next characters, and sometimes I'll have like these ideas. I'm like, oh, but it'd be really cool if I went back, and I never do. I never go back. I had ideas to go back and do all these like bonus stories for my Fair Isle trilogy. I got a lot of requests to do bonus couple stories for Entangled with Fae, and I'm like, maybe I will. I never have, so I'm like, I never will. But you never really know. There could be a time where like maybe someone's gonna be like, oh, we need to do like a charity anthology, and for some reason I'll have this brilliant idea for like a 5,000 word chapter or something. I don't know.
If you did all those bonus chapters and just put them in one book, people would eat it up.
I'd also never write the things I'm actually excited about though. So that's because once I move on, I usually have something else I want to write next. And that is what excites me. And that's usually how I write best, is when I'm like in that energy. I really have to take advantage of that energy. Otherwise that's when I get into burnout. So I'm like I could do that, but then I probably wouldn't be very happy. So I say never, but
so I have to bring up the elephant that me and Olivia always bring up, which I already talked to you about on Instagram. But when we read A Rivalry of Hearts and we didn't read My Feral Romance yet, we didn't know who the couple was. At first, we were like, okay, the second book has to be Cassie's. And we were so convinced that the second book was going to be Cassie's before, Monty and all that. So we were just like, I wonder if she would ever do like a duology on the sisters, like Cassie and then Angela. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to write a book for Cassie for like a lot of reasons. And one of the reasons, and I feel like this is an important one, is that she is a character with a chronic health condition and she has a disability. And I feel like disability representation is incredibly important and important to do really well. And one of the things that I hear from like readers with disabilities who want disability rep is that they don't want to see magic cure them. And that is, and I do think that a lot of readers who would want like at least a good portion of readers who want a Cassie story are going to want to know, does she live forever? Is she healthy? I'm sorry, I cannot answer that. I don't think that it's like right for me to tackle that. And the story that I would want to tell for her wouldn't fit in with Fae Flings. Like I daydream about like side characters sometimes just to be like, do I want to write about this character? And when I daydream about her, I have fun ideas, but it doesn't feel like Fae Flings and Corset Strings. It feels like a new adult college Fae story, which sounds fun too, but just not anything that I want to write. So I'm like, maybe someday, but I've said that about so many of my characters, like maybe someday I'll write a story for them. But I love Cassie. I love what she does in that book. And I really just want readers to think about how they imagine her life. I wanted to leave it open-ended because her life is going to be an adventure and she's going to make the best out of it. But I just, there's like so many reasons that just like, I'm like, I don't want to write her story. I want her to live her best life in everyone's imagination.
Well, props for writing two really amazing sisters because they definitely, both books, both Cassie and Angela, they both stole the show at different parts and they were awesome. So we were just like, we love these sisters.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Do you have a sister that you take inspiration from, or because they were really well written?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm wondering if she has like a sister that she kind of takes her.
Funnily enough, I mean, I have a half sister, but we're not close. I haven't really seen her in many, many years. So, I guess I just really like writing about like sibling relationships, even though I don't have sibling relationships like that. I have a brother who I was raised with, so I'm closer with him. But I'm not really close with my half sister. It is kind of sad. So I guess I put some fantasy in there to like, write these close sister relationships.
I mean, it did very much remind me of like me and my sister, even though we have like a 12-year age gap, but we're still like really close. And she's like probably one of the funniest people I know. So, but yeah, it was just, we just loved the sisters. We just loved all the side characters. Like every single character that you write is like so engaging.
I have a lot of fun with side characters. I don't know. Readers can probably tell. I love side characters and they kind of take over. And I think it's fun to let them take over. And then that's usually like I get like this twisted joy out of knowing that readers won't like, especially for Fae Flings and Monty. Like I had people tell me like, there's no way you're going to make me like Monty, or like, there's no way you're going to make me like the Wolf King because he came from a different series. No one liked him. And I get like the most twisted joy because I'm like, no, I am.
No,
like, trust me. Whereas like the other characters who are like so easy to love, I'm like boring.
She was so mad at him for like half.
She would text us and she would be like, guys, I don't like Monty. And I'm like, you have to read it. And I kind of knew, I had a soft spot for Monty. Like he was kind of a troublemaker. He's doing these naughty things, but I knew I was going to come to love him like in the end, and that he had like a heart of gold, so. And William was so compelling too, because he was just, I don't even know how to describe William.
He was just very dapper.
He was very dapper. I was immediately drawn to him. He's very smooth,
We love it.
So they were just great. This is kind of a random question, but out of all of your books that you've ever written, who is your absolute favorite character that you've written and why?
I would probably just have to stick with Edwina just because she did represent that like first time of me being able to just completely let loose, like no filter. I didn't have to worry. Like I wasn't going to care if she was likable or not. Like I was going to, and I based so much of her on me. So don't tell me you hate her because you're just saying you hate me. I'm just kidding. But like she just was represented so much freedom for me as a writer, and I just like I think I'm always going to have like a soft spot for her of just like that step that I was able to take in writing and like being able to just completely let loose like that. She was very fun, and I don't know, maybe someday I'll have a new favorite, but I think Edwina will be my favorite for a while.
Yeah, that's awesome. So delving into Edwina and William in A Rivalry of Hearts, specific questions. The first paragraph, I texted Olivia when I read the first paragraph, and I was just sitting in like this car shop waiting for my car, and I was like, I'm gonna open Rivalry because it's our book club book. The first paragraph was gold. Yeah. And I will rant about it forever. I posted about it on Instagram and everything. It was my favorite. I'm gonna read it to everybody because it's so awesome. So it says, I've always maintained that a woman in possession of a vast imagination would want for nothing in life. She'd be superior to those with such fleeting virtues as wit, beauty, or accomplishment. The richest woman in the world, if only in her mind. I thought that was an amazing way to start a book. I was like, this is probably my favorite intro I have ever read, ever.
Aww.
So was that like the original first quote that you wrote, or did you go back and rewrite it?
As far as I can remember, I'm pretty sure it's like pretty much unchanged from page 1. Like I do struggle, and I do with first pages because I want to get my first line right. I wasn't always like that. I used to kind of just start a book willy-nilly and be like, that was a good first line. But there was just a switch in my brain where I started paying attention to first lines, and now I'm like pickier every book I write, where I'm like, well, I want to make sure it really like stands out, and I want it to represent the tone, and I want it to represent the character, and I want it to just really set the mood right away. And that one I felt like that, especially because I wanted to make sure, because this was going to be a new starting point. So a lot of people weren't going to have read my other books. They weren't necessarily going to know the time period or the like humor or the vibes. And so I'm like, okay, how can I make that clear in one like opening, like as soon as I can? And so I wanted to make sure the language sounded like we were going to be in a Regency-esque type setting, and I wanted to make sure it was a little bit funny, a little bit witty to show what kind of character you're about to read. And so I thought that one like did what I wanted it to do, and I do really like that one. I think that one I think that was a fun starting for it.
Like after the Anne dedication, I was like, this is gonna be my favorite book this year. Like I was sucked in immediately.
Oh,
it's so funny because the way I'm trying to remember how we came across your book completely happenstance. Like I think that I can't remember if
it was some post on Instagram that I think one of us shared to our group.
Yes. That's what it was. It was, we found it on Instagram, and I think we looked at like the cover of it too, the cover art, and we were like, wow, this looks really cute. Like, let's dive into it. And as we're reading it, we're all texting each other like, wow, this is really, really good. Like, this is amazing, you know?
And we're like, no, we got to do book 2.
Yes. And we didn't know at the time. We thought it was a standalone. I don't know why we didn't know that there was a second book. And so when we had found out there was a book 2, we were sitting there like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, so happy that there was something we could move on to, because you sit there and you want that next book so badly.
Yeah.
You know? It was so good. And I love the scene too in the beginning of the book where they're all in the bar together, right? And then we're introduced. We talked about this for a very long time. To Cloud Dive. We love. So how did you imagine? Yeah, we had a whole rant on Cloud Dive. We were talking to all of our podcasters about it. How do you imagine it in real life? Because we were trying to describe it to people. And like, do you have a recipe for it? Is it based off a drink that you drink personally?
So one of the things I'll mention first, which I think people find pretty funny, is that I actually don't drink alcohol. I have before, so I do have experiences with alcohol, which I do write into my books, but I don't drink anymore.
Yeah.
I like writing about my characters getting drunk. I think it's fun. I think funny shenanigans can happen, and I don't go into the horrible things that can happen because I haven't had great experiences with alcohol, so I write about the fun ones. So I don't drink anymore. Still like to write about my characters drinking. And I just based this one, like I'd seen those like layered drinks. And I think I actually had to like look them up. Cause of course, like I said, I have to know everything so I can write about like one sentence. And like, cause you can make a layered drink based on the weight of the different liquids, because like a heavier liquid is going to go to the bottom and then the other one's on the top. So yeah, I had to like think about like, okay, like how would this actually work in a real beverage so that I can just like, obviously it's Fae, so I could have just been like Fae magic, but so I don't have a specific recipe, but I did think it was really fun when the Book Cove put out their special edition for it. They made a recipe and they actually like tested it and everything. So is
it in that book? Did I not see it?
It's not in the book. It was it was for a social media page. So it's probably like really, really old in my feed. Like it's in there somewhere.
I'm gonna scroll down now.
Yeah, you'll have to look for it. I didn't actually I don't think I actually made it at home or anything, but there's like the alcohol version and the non-alcohol version. And it was like a tropical, and it had the two different colors. So there's a version out there.
We were discussing like what would it be, and we kind of all came to the conclusion that it was like blue with like the edible sparkles and like tasted like cotton candy with like a poof of cotton candy on the top.
Oh, that would be delicious, I'm sure.
So I was like, okay, cloud dive like cotton candy looks like clouds. I don't know.
That would be really
like
cute.
On the rim.
Yes. Now we're gonna have to go back and find that recipe. Oh my God. We're gonna try it out.
We gotta try it.
I'm the same way as you. I don't drink alcohol like ever. So I will do the non-alcoholic version of it.
Yeah. I can't wait now. Oh my God, I did not know there was a recipe. That's awesome.
Where did you say it's on your feed, right? Tessonja?
It's on my feed. It was a collab post with the Book Cove.
Book Cove.
Okay. We'll find
it. Back to not the alcohol, but back to the characters. Even though a character did throw up on another character after consuming said alcohol, and that was so in your first draft, did either character, Edwina or William, originally win the rivalry for the publishing contract, or was it just different as you wrote the story?
I knew that Edwina was always going to win. There was I knew she was going to win, and it was, but I like, cause some things I'm like, I just don't really know, like, cause their dynamics could like make whatever. So I knew she was going to win for sure. And it had to be without William stepping down. Cause that's just like, that goes against my ethics. That's not okay for her to like she needed to win on her own merit without it getting between their relationship. So I like those are the things I knew, and I had to build them together, and then like kind of toward the end be like, okay, well, how is this actually going to play out? Because I wanted William to do his own thing, but I also wanted it to be absolutely fair, and I wanted to show that Edwina's writing was absolutely worthy on her own as she is. It didn't matter who else, like she was going to win for sure. So that was the plan, and it worked
she's gonna
out.
Help him and Cassie after.
Yeah,
come on. And I think even if William did win, he would have helped her out too. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, Edwina was definitely should have been the winner, and I'm glad she was.
Yeah.
I will say there was, for me, when I was reading it, there was a point where I was like, ooh, actually, like, I don't know, William might win this. I thought truly that he might win it, you know? And so when Edwina ended up winning in the end, I was a little bit surprised by it, but I thought that it tied in so well. Cause I was like, ooh, how is this going to work out? I'm worried about Cassie. I'm worried about William. Like, you know, I want William to do well. Like, I want to see him succeed well. So
I think I knew that Edwina was going to win when we got that famous elevator scene.
Loved the elevator scene.
The best. When they got on the elevator, I go, it's going to be this elevator operator, isn't it? He paid this guy to make it go slower.
Yep.
When she got that point, I knew it. I knew from that moment. We loved that scene. I texted you during that scene, I think, because you were a couple chapters behind, and you were like, I haven't gotten there yet. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, I loved that scene.
So fun. It was so good.
In terms of like, obviously him writing the poetry when it was really Cassie's writing and all of that, we were kind of upset at Edwina though for her reaction to that, because she was just furious with him. Was there like a specific reason you wanted him to, or like her to be angry at him, or was it like a third act breakup kind of thing, or what was your thoughts when you wrote that part?
So my thoughts, and in retrospect, I probably regret making William as redeemable as I did, because I felt like I felt like there's a hard balance, because you don't want the reader to absolutely hate the love interest. Yeah. But I feel like it's very common for us to judge female characters and to be super forgiving of men who do probably worse without holding them accountable. And so I wanted to make sure that I like show that he did something that was ethically and morally questionable and triggered Edwina based on her past, because from her perspective, she has been a victim of misogyny in publishing like her whole life, and her ethics is that she is not going to give into that, and she is going, like, she'd rather be poor than to let someone like walk all over her and put a man's name on her book, because that like perpetrates the idea that women have a higher value if they're presented, if a man is responsible for the work. And so when she's learned that William did that, in her mind, he is perpetuating that same misogyny. And even after she finds out that like Cassie was willing to do it, there's still the like, Cassie and William still exploited their readers. Like, even if they had their reasons, they have their reasons. And I feel like it's very easy to sympathize with those reasons, but the truth is they still...
That was me. I'm just like a mushy heart for
me.
Cassie.
Yeah, so like, I was like, the truth is though that they still exploited their readers. They knew what they were doing, exactly what they were doing, and they did make a choice that perpetuated misogyny. So, So I felt like Edwina's anger was like really justified, and I do regret a little bit, like, because I try to work really hard to make sure readers didn't hate William, and I should have worked harder to make sure readers understood Edwina a little more, because to me, I was like, no, like, this is, like, I would be furious if it, like, to realize that someone that you're falling in love with is responsible for perpetuating harm that you've experienced. Like, that would be so hard, and like, so she just needs like a minute to cool down and kind of wrap her head around it. And I think that William ends up kind of holding himself accountable, and things like end up working out. But, and then Edwina decides that like she it still hurts, and what they did is still like painful to her, but then she not about
like
her.
Sees Cassie like,
and she sees
and like why she was doing
exactly it. And like, it's not her, like, she has really strong ethics, and Cassie kind of calls her out, and like, it's not your job, like, Cassie's not here to fight the patriarchy. Edwina is. And so she kind of just has to like as hard as that is for Edwina, she has to be like, okay, this isn't really about me or my ethics, like I don't feel like it's where anybody is right or wrong. I feel like it's a complicated situation, and she learns that like she faces the fact that William didn't do it maliciously. Like, they weren't doing it maliciously, and so she
like Cassie just wanted to have her dream before she died, and like you really have to sympathize with that. And you're like, okay.
And it also leaves the fact that we never really get Cassie's perspective, so we don't really know, did she actually did she actually choose that because she had no confidence in herself? Because she's kind of succumbed to that like misogyny and like, well, like, it can't happen for us, or did what she say, is it true? We don't actually get to know that ever, so we don't know if she actually like felt that way, or if that's just like the way that she's trying to reason it. So I feel like it was a complicated situation where I can't really know everybody's like truth, because my characters, but
I did read it, like, personally, I can't speak for Olivia, but I read it in the way where she, on the outside, was very confident that she was going to live like a nice life, whatever, but that she might have been actually just really upset that she might not. And so by doing this, it kind of just ensured that she would get her dream before, if she died. And so just the way that I read it was that she kind of just wanted to have that if she did die sooner than she thought.
Yeah.
You know?
And what I really appreciated too is kind of like, I have experienced, I have been Edwina in certain circumstances in my life. And I have also been, I have had work situations where it's very either misogynistic or you're up against a power, right? That is so frustrating, or a group of people. I've personally experienced this, a group of people, and they're against you, right? And and you want to fight it, and you're like, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to do this. But I've also been in a work situation where I'm like, I want to change the world. I want to do this, but also I need to just be able to accept what's happening and like work within my confines and in my means. And I identified with Cassie in that situation where she's just kind of like, hey, I know what we're up against. You know, I'm just trying my best here. We're trying to work with the situation we got. And so it was really nice to see Edwina, who has that fire, who wants to fight, and someone who's trying to survive in the confines of what's going on.
I loved the scene when she like wakes up in the bedroom and they have that talk. And I was like, I'm so glad. And then she was like, look, stop being mad at my brother. He loves you. I was like, you tell her, girl.
I love that Cassie was like, I'm gonna stand up for my brother. I love my brother. I know you love him too. And you gotta get past your prejudice and your personal thoughts on it. And I was like, yeah, go girl. Like, you tell Edwina, but we love Edwina too and how strong she is. Yeah. She's a power. She's a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure.
She's honestly more forceful than I would probably ever be. I'd probably be a lot more of a pushover than her. So she was a really like fun experiment, or a good experience of like writing the person like I wish I could be like that strong in certain situations, or I wish I could be that stubborn. I wish I could stand up for myself that confidently, because that's definitely not me.
When he was like, you're not going in the voyeurism club, she's like, I'm getting in that club. He's like, oh my god, no, and then you're a woman. She's like, I don't give a fuck. just the way that she was like, that's fascinating. I was like, she's so funny.
I was texting Melanie when they were in the voyeurism club, and I was like, Edwina, you're embarrassing me. Like,
oh my god.
It was so funny when she was just like studying all the different poses and the people that were engaged, and she was just like, so like, I'm looking at it. What can, it's not a big deal. I was like, oh my gosh, I could never.
That was definitely not based on me. It was very much of me like, what's the opposite? Like I related more with William, how he's like, like, I'm gonna get you, and then he's in there all like uncomfortable, like
William's like, I'm gonna throw up if I can.
That was definitely like I did not relate to Edwina at all in that scene. I thought that her reaction was really fun. It was really fun to write.
It was a fun scene to read. We really enjoyed it. It was a good one.
I also really loved how it did kind of flow into that more vulnerable space for William when he's telling her like, oh, it was your book in the play that I threw up and embarrassed myself, like 3 times. And then like he opens up and he's like, oh, and I'm a spring court fae, and he shows her like the flowers that comes up out of his palms or whatever. And I was like, I knew I loved him. I love spring court fae. But was he always spring court when you were writing him?
I think so. That one's kind of a hard one to remember, but I do the first thing I did before I even wrote was I drew the cover, and the cover has peonies, and I don't really know if I knew what the peonies were for, other than I just wanted flowers on the cover. But then I was like I need to like tie this in. So I don't actually remember which part of plotting when I decided he was a flower fae, but it did. It did build in pretty early on. So I do remember that like being something to keep in mind. So I could like throw in a couple little foreshadowing, and just there's certain like words that he says and things that like kind of build into that. So I thought of it early on, but I'm not sure if I knew it right away. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure that I got the idea when I drew the cover, and I was like, why are there peonies on here?
But also, I was like, on that note, I was watching, I think it was your Instagram or something the other day, and I did not know you draw your characters, don't you, for your covers?
Some of them, yeah. I do some character art. I've done all my like dust jacket covers for the Fae Flings and Corset String series, Curse of the Wolf King, and the Fair Isle trilogy. I do those. I don't do, so there's an undercover Under the Dust Jacket art. That's not by me. That's by Meow Lane. So I commission a lot too. So like, I don't know why, but like, I feel like I have to say this anytime someone like praises me for doing my own art. I'm like, don't credit me for all of it. I don't do all my own art. I do some of it because I'm really passionate about like making those connections with the artists that I work with. So I'm like, don't think that I do everything. I commission a lot. Okay, give them credit. I don't know why. Like, it's just like this defense mechanism. I'm like, please don't think I do all my own. But I do some. Yeah.
I do love how you did put your portraits on the inside, though. We love those.
Yeah, I did. I put those in there.
They're so pretty. I love that style too. I love your style.
Yeah. Oh, that is a very cool style. Like it's just so like elegant and pretty, and we love all the artists that you use, and we love that you commission and use artists. I think that's fantastic. Especially with what's going on right now with the whole AI thing. I'm sure you've heard a lot about it.
Supporting artists more than ever. My bank account is just like every month I'm like new art to commission. Let's go.
Let's do it.
I feel like when it comes to that point in my book, I'm just gonna be so broke from being like, I want more pretty art. You know. Random question, because it popped into my head when we were talking about him being a spring court fae. But the little backstory of like his mom and then like his piece of shit dad like leaving her and then she like left, like was there like a specific outline or like a specific story that you had in mind for his background when you were writing that? Did you kind of know that that's how like the Fae to human lifespan thing was going to work? Because I thought that was a really cool thing that I've never seen anyone else do. When you're like, oh, when a Fae falls in love with a human, their lifespan's match. I was like, but then if they leave them, they die? I was like,
that is kind of a sad thing, but it has been built into the world building ever since Entangled with Fae. Just because, I mean, one of the biggest questions I get is, are these characters going to like everyone wants to know if there's a human character with a Fae character, they just want to know, are they going to live forever? And honestly, like sometimes I regret building that in because like it kind of stresses me out because I am so logic based. Is I'm like, okay, so now we basically got immortals and people like ever since like from in this okay, so the trilogy was the Isle was split between humans and Fae, and then now in these later generation, all my like cozy rom-coms and fairy tale retellings, everyone is merging and human Fae relationships are no longer taboo. And now there's like, they know about how like human Fae couples, their aging can slow down, or they at least affect each other's aging. And like I built that from the beginning because I'm like, well, I know readers want to make sure that these characters are going to live long lives together, and they're going to get mad at me if they don't. But then like now it stresses me out because I'm like, well, we're going to face overpopulation. We're going like people are going to exploit this. Like this is actually a big problem. I'm writing dystopian, and so like I have to take myself back from that because it stresses me out. I'm like, this is actually a big problem. But I'm writing romance, okay? I'm writing fluffy romance. We're not going to go there or
forever
think about that.
Happy.
Please, no, thank you.
So this has been in place for like ever since Curse of the Wolf King, and then I kind of make it clear in like each book, or at least each book where I know a reader will ask that question, just to make sure that they have that answer, because that is like one of the biggest ones. So that was in place in already when I wrote a rivalry of hearts, so that kind of just fit in naturally.
Now I'm so glad that it did, because now in my head I can be like, Cassie met a nice Fae boy and she's gonna live. I'm gonna write the fanfic where she meets him, and they're just
which is why no one wants my version, because it's totally not what would happen. I'm terrible. Well,
oh no,
it would be a cute story. It would be a love triangle, okay? There'd be a Fae character and there'd be a human character, and the human character wouldn't want to love her because he knows that he wouldn't be able to give her a long life, and then the Fae character would. So she'd be torn. That
is the angst I need.
Yeah, and I'm never gonna write that. I think she would end up with the human, and because it just fits. It just fits like what her character needs and what her disability representation needs. So I'm like, I can't even if it sounds fun, I do get excited when I think about it, but I'm like, I'm not writing that book. It would be like, it would just be kind of sad, and it would be like it would be happy, obviously. It would be sad too, and it's just not a Fae Flings and Corset Strings book.
I mean, oh yeah, I know. It would definitely not be a fluff book.
No, it would be its own thing, and it would make people cry. They'd be so mad at me.
I'm gonna be crying at the end. Like I could see her and her human mates or whatever both walk dying, off and like both dying, and we don't know what's gonna happen. Oh, don't do it to me, okay?
Well, now you're making me want to just do a fanfic of both versions, and this isn't helping.
Choose your own adventure. Which one happens?
A little choose your own adventure.
Or why choose? You know, maybe it's just a why choose.
Yeah, and then both the humans can. Oh my god!
Oh my god! So
no, this is why I can't write a Cassie story, because I'm like, this just makes my brain go in all these crazy directions. I'm like, no, Cassie,
no, me too,
go do what you want.
I
can't tell you what to do because I'm going to tell you to do something weird.
Yes. Thank you for having the insight for your readers, because like I cannot handle that.
Right?
Olivia, I'm still gonna make you read that fanfic.
No. I like it how it is. Let's keep it at that. So moving on to My Feral Romance. Now what was really fun was that in the end one of the points of contention for Monty, right, is that like his mom, right? And we're all trying to figure out how his mom plays like a role. Oh my gosh, I know, into that book. So do you think we'll get any more scenes, like however small, of Monty and his book, of Monty and his mom in book 3 with Araminta?
I'm gonna break your heart. I always want readers to be, especially for this whole series. Like this whole series is very much the new couple takes the spotlight. The previous couple story is over.
I know
there were a lot of people who are like disappointed that William and Edwina didn't have a cameo in My Feral Romance. Like they exist, but their story's over, and I want 100% of the spotlight to be on the new couple, especially since the way I want people to approach them is that they could start at anyone they want and not just have like this random character of like, why should I care about this? Like I don't like I really want the spotlight to be focused on the new character. So I do I mean they're mentioned because Detective Whitwood is the one who helped find Monty's mom, so they exist. I really wanted to add a cameo in My Feral Romance, and it just didn't end up happening, especially since I can feel the pacing of my own books. I'm like I have like that intuitive nudge of like, okay, this is going to be too much. And I had to make the choice of like which cameo character, and the characters from A Dream So Wicked, I felt like are way more integral to Monty's internal growth, because that was a huge point for him, to show him getting emotional at their wedding. So I'm like, I have to have that cameo. And if I throw in another one, I can just tell it's going to get like really kind of chaotic, and like there's a certain level of chaos that is that I like that level of chaos. And there's somewhere I'm like, okay, this is getting like the focus is getting out of control right now. So I had to cut it, even if I didn't really have like a specific idea in mind, but I did want them to, and it just didn't end up happening. So I'm like, okay, I'm committing to that for this series. The spotlight is on one character. If it happens, it would be really cute if there was like a final chapter where like all the characters were in, but I don't know. I can't promise that, because again, like I'm an intuitive writer, and I can like I will start to feel, I'm like, nope, this feels weird. It feels wrong. I don't like it at all. And so like I have
so
to
you're saying in a future trilogy we might see their weddings. Just not
never. Again, that one like goes into the one where I'm like, oh, that would be fun. I just know myself. I will probably never do like
I'm like, wow, there's a wedding from this other series in here.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Probably so excited.
Obviously, I did it before. Like I wasn't planning on ever showing the couple. Bryony and Thorns. I wasn't planning on showing their wedding, and I did. So I mean,
you did.
I will say never, but then never say
I was
never,
gonna say, I was like, this has to be from that other book.
Yeah.
At least we have their happily ever after.
Yeah, you get theirs.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Yeah, with Monty and the point of like how people are like, oh, maybe we will like him at the end, maybe we won't like him at the end, and Eka especially, when she was very upset about that, I was thinking like I thought it was a really great twist that, you know, on the surface he's very funny, humorous, he kind of has like a I don't give a fuck attitude about most things, and you know, he jabs at people, but then he does have a lot of like self-loathing and feelings of inadequacy within himself that we really see in his point of view. And I thought that was really real because that's kind of how a lot of people are in real life. Not to say that people are fake, but they usually put like their best selves forward and things like that. When did you realize that this was where his story was kind of taking him? Like, was it in Rivalry where it was kind of like, okay, he has a little bit of family issues, but we're going to focus on that in his book? Or did you kind of think up his family dynamic when writing Feral Romance?
I actually thought it up in A Dream So Wicked because since he plays such a big role in that, and it was really fun writing his character. Like, I actually thought he was going to be like an unlikable character, but then there was this scene that like I pictured, and it was just like he was so cute. He was like bantering with Thorn. Thorn was like talking about Bryony and like, oh, you're being like rude or whatever. And he's like laying back on this lounge and pretending to smoke an orchid. And I just like pictured that with like really handsome character art. I never have gotten that scene illustrated, but it was just that scene of like this like devil may care guy with like the like blonde wave just like pretending to smoke an orchid because he's just like, and I just thought that was so cute. And I was like fell in love with him. I'm like, oh wait, no, this character's not gonna be a bad guy. He's gonna be the best. He's gonna be super annoying on the outside, but he has a very deep inside. And so I knew then, I was like, okay, I know this guy, I know what he's about. And I knew that he was gonna have some kind of dynamics in there. I didn't know like everything, but I knew that he was gonna have like, he was definitely doing what he did on purpose. Like he had reasons for setting up Bryony and Thorn, and for reasons for kind of like getting his father to disinherit him. Like he did all this on purpose. And I knew that there was going to be something going on with his dad and his family, and that like built in a little bit more as I was writing A Rivalry of Hearts. That's when I kind of knew that he has like there was like the bruises on his wrist, so I knew he did like fighting. Or bruises on his knuckles. So when Daphne like sees him coming back from like a boxing match or something, or maybe the bruises were from when they beat up the guy in the alley. I don't remember. But anyways, like I knew he was like a fighter, so he's got some like anger issues. So he's just like this like kind of funny guy, but he's got like a little bit of a darker side, a
few vices.
So I built up his character for a long time. I loved him so much in A Dream So Wicked, and it was so funny how much people hated him, and I understood because they didn't know his secrets. I did.
I'm so excited. I have to go back and read that book. We need to read that next. A Dream So Wicked. Okay. Okay.
We got to read that so badly.
I know.
I did love, I know we like joke and make fun of it a lot because it's hilarious, but I do like how kind of all of his stress was like the smoking thing. And it's like the cigarillo, and he flipped the cigarillo and he took out a cigarillo. I was like, the cigarillos are everywhere.
Yeah, it's a sensory thing. He calms him down.
Right? Yeah, like the flipping and yeah. And that's again, that's why he fits so well with Daphne, and that's why he understands her so well, because they both have their things, but they fit together seamlessly though, and I love that so much.
And at the end of my Feral Romance, I kind of saw this coming, but I didn't quite see this coming for Monty, right? And I was like, does Monty like have any powers? Like you were kind of like building up to it. Like I kind of felt it as I was reading the book, but I wasn't sure if it was going to happen. And then you spring it on us again. I knew it. Like the minute I read it, I was like, fox, like this cute little fox.
Oh my god, I love it.
Freaking love it. How did you come up with that?
Well, fennec foxes are my favorite animal. They're super cute and small, and I've held one before at like a petting zoo, which was cute, but also made me sad because I feel like fennec foxes shouldn't be at petting zoos, but he was really cute. And so I've actually held Monty. I have like a picture of me holding it, and I'm like, that's me and Monty. Like I'm pretending that's what it was. They're just so cute, and I love them. And I felt like when I don't think I knew that he was a fox in A Dream So Wicked, but I'm pretty sure I knew he was a fox in A Rivalry of Hearts. He definitely has that personality. Like he's a foxy guy, but I'm like, but I also knew that and I knew he was going to be a fire fae. And so I had already established in the Fair Isle trilogy that fennec foxes are in the fire court because they're desert, like they're little desert foxes. So it made sense. So I'm like, okay, he's definitely going to be a fennec fox. That makes sense for him. It makes sense for his like foxy personality. He's so mischievous, but it also makes sense for like the type of fae that he is.
Yeah. And I love that he got it from his mom.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, his little friend. I was like, this has to be someone important. And then
I knew it.
Mom.
I know. I was reading it. I was like, is it a girl or is it his mom? Which one is it going to end up being? Like, so fun.
I
love the mom.
In terms of him being a fire fae, though, and Daphne loving the rain, the fact that he was allergic to rain, that was so clever. I loved that. I know it was like such like a little thing, but I love that so much, and I love how it kind of led to the scene of like her taking care of him on the couch because he was still like asleep and like damp and all that. And I was like, this is so fun. How did you think of that?
So I can't remember what came first, if the rain scene came to me first or if me knowing what kind of fae was came first. I can't remember that part, but whenever it came together, so the like having your like nature be I'm not wording it right, but like, so he's a fire fae, so he's going to be weakened by water. That's kind of already established in the Fae Isle trilogy, so we see a little bit of that in that trilogy. So that was kind of just like me like bringing a little bit of my older world building back in, where that like depending on, and like not every fae is going to have such an obvious one because not all of them are like elemental, but especially for elemental fae, they are going to have like some that are going to like be able to overpower, or they're going to be weakened by certain elements. And so I already had that established that like that would happen for him, or for fire fae could be weakened by water. And so I don't know what came first, but I do know that it all like by the time that all happened, I was like, okay, this is what's going to happen during the rain. And I felt like it just like I love a rain scene, and I love a taking care of someone when they are sick scene. Like those are some of my favorites. I don't ever get sick of them. Like I watch a lot of K-dramas and anime, and there's like always a taking care of someone when you're sick scene. I also like a taking care of someone when you're drunk scene and drunk confessions. So you'll see those a lot in my books too. I feel like they kind of fit in the same like overall trope of that like taking care of someone. Like I love those type of dynamics.
I mean, I loved the line when she was like, why did you come in the rain with me then? And he's like, because you love it. And I was like, oh my God, Monty. And then, of course, that led to like her taking care of him, which led to like the mirror scene, which is on the art of one of the books. And oh my God, I love that. Like that scene and the elevator scene are like my two favorite for those couples. And just the way that he like, I don't know. I'm kind of a sucker for like a guy that's like, oh, I know I'll get sick, but like you love doing it. So the fact that he was like, you love the rain, so I'll get sick for you. I was like, oh my God, he's my favorite. I was just like melting because I just loved him. I love him so much. And foxes are my favorite too. By the way. So I was like,
I have my fox. You might be able to see it in the thing. I've got like a fennec fox squishmallow back there, or he's some kind of fox. He might be a kitsune. I think he has 9 tails, so he might actually be a kitsune.
Yeah. I love foxes so much.
So cute. I love it. Now that the moment that Araminta told
I texted you that
Araminta told Daphne that she was stealing these dresses from people's homes, right? We knew she was going to get caught at some point, and it was so funny because it goes on the entire book. She's like reading the obituary section, and then
I was like, when is she going to get caught?
None of us expected that end, though, by the way. And like, when did you realize her love interest was going to be the cop that arrested her?
Yeah.
So that scene is when I was writing that scene, or at least when I planned that scene where she is like I'm wearing morning attire and I stole it. Like I was like, oh, she's the next character. That's when I was like, oh, I know she's going to be the next character. And once I knew she was the next character, it just seemed so natural. Like obviously she's going to get caught. And obviously it's going to be a detective and he's going to be hot. And So it was kind of like writing that scene and then it all came together. It's kind of like what happened with the tavern scene where I was like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen in the next book. And then all of a sudden Daphne's like insulting Monty and I'm like, oh, they love each other. So it is funny the way that like I won't know something, but things will make connections as I'm writing. And then all of a sudden there's like a whole new world that I didn't know that I was going to get into. Like, and it just happens like that. It's just like all of a sudden these connections are just in place. And then I'm like, oh, I've got a whole book idea now.
I do love how it was the detective that also found Monty's mom. I was like, that was so clever.
Yes.
That he was working on like both cases and then he's like, oh, they're connected sort of. It's her with the purple hair.
And he was such a grump, not letting Araminta say goodbye to her friends. He just like straight up arrests her, takes her into the car. Oh my gosh. We all texted each other. We were like, at least let her say goodbye for Pete's sake. Like,
right?
Oh, wait a minute. I just realized I lied to you guys. Daphne and Monty do make a cameo in Elegance and Espionage. I totally forgot about this scene that they're in, and it's really funny. Okay, never mind. I lied. They are going to have a cameo. There's just not really anything about, there's nothing about Monty's mom or anything. It's just Daphne and Monty,
I mean, they
in
are
one of the like first chapters. They show up. It's really fun. So readers will like that. Okay, I'm so glad I lied. So wait a minute. That was like a really fun scene that I wrote. How did I forget that already?
I am so excited. I cannot wait to read it now.
I'm so excited. Yeah. Are we gonna find out like how he knew it was her? Or did he like see her before? Like catch her before? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean I actually don't know if I go into too much detail, but I'm like it's more of that, like the description of the dress and that she confesses to him right away and is like, yeah, I took this from a dead person. So it kind of like, actually, she pretty much just delivers herself in a bow. Like, hi, I'm a kidnapper, or not kidnapper, a burglar, and I just confessed to you. So he kind of got lucky. He had to do literally no work to solve that one.
She really did just like offer herself up, like.
Yeah, she's like, oh, you like my dress? I'll tell you all about it.
He just like steps off the train. He's like, oh, there she is. Wow.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't looking for her, but he did notice all the details of her dress. I'm like, okay, this was reported missing. I think I just figured out where the dress went.
Okay, question. I love how she has purple hair. Was there like a reason or did you just think that was like really cool?
I thought it was cute. It is so cute. When I started writing out her character and like realizing her quirk of stealing morning attire, I love the aesthetic and I love the pastel hair mixed with the like really austere morning gowns. And I am thinking about like kind of that like gothic Lolita style. I love that style, and so I just imagine her as like that, but like in the like Victorian Edwardian era.
Your portrait of her is my favorite. It's so cute.
I just thought it was cute, and sometimes I make choices like that where I'm like, does this make sense? Don't care. It's cute.
It's happening. It's cute.
I know. I love the morning dressing. I mean, I've never read a character like Araminta before. She's so unique and like it just cracks me up. And that she was like an exotic model. Like, wasn't she modeling for like?
Yeah, she's a pinup model and she models for advertisements. There's a really funny one that I just wrote today, but I won't spoil it.
Oh no!
But yeah, so you know how there's like the review where she's like, I modeled for like hemorrhoid quotient, and I modeled for like contraceptives, like the ones that are more like I guess taboo or whatever. People they're not modeling like gloves or anything. She'll model anything, and I have a really fun one that I wrote in a scene today, but I won't spoil it. It was I like planned it from the beginning. Like, oh, I know what products she should model. It's gonna be hilarious.
Oh, like condoms.
Can't tell you. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, we're so excited. Oh my God.
So excited for this book.
Oh, I love it. I'm so excited.
All right.
Now my question's cut off. So now I'm like, it's all you.
Okay, there's two more. We got two more. All right. All right. Are there any little hints you can give us about Oliver? And is there a specific, I mean, obviously he's a cop, but did he specifically get that justice tattoo for a reason? Is there anything
to the tattoo? But I can tell you that he is a detective who is from a different country. So he's from a country of Isola, which we have not really explored that much. There's been a couple characters from Isola. Gemma is from Isola. Most of the interactions have been with the country that's like really nearby that they went to war with. So things aren't like that great. No. So we're in a country that like I haven't really world built on too much. But and we're not going to really go there or anything. But he does have, so it's like just a little bit of a different place than what Fae is like. But he has a dark past, and he has an aversion to touch. He wears gloves all the time, and so he is, and like what little I can tell, because this is like what basically happens in the first couple chapters, and what I'm pretty sure I've written into the blurb. I think I saw the blurb and I was like, oh my God. I changed things a little bit because I hadn't started writing it, and I was like, yeah, no, we're not going to go there. We're going to go somewhere else instead. But they have a contract marriage. He is a detective, but he wants to do work that like actually is like bigger than just solving burglary cases. And so he gets a job offer that would make him that would bring him somewhere that is going to be like more important. It's going to feel like more of an important job, but he has to do kind of like a test mission. So he has to spy on this cruise ship, and it's a newlywed cruise. So he needs a wife because the woman who he was engaged to, who he'd only gotten engaged to for this reason, found out that he did only propose to her for a spy mission. So he suddenly has no wife. The newlywed cruise starts in 2 weeks, and he's got Araminta in jail right now, who's very desperate to have her charges dropped. What? So yeah, we have a contract marriage. If she agrees to marry him, they're going to set out a contract. Then he will have her charges dropped. So
she would jump at that chance anyway.
Contract marriage, detective with a dark past, but also it's very fluffy and fun. And
oh my God, cruise ship vibes. Pastel hair,
cruise ship. I had to watch Titanic, and like because I want it, because that like is a really good time period. It kind of has like it's a little bit later time period wise than where I feel like mine takes place. My cruise ship is much smaller, but still I'm like, I want to get the aesthetics. And I remember like that turns into a horror movie. I forgot. The first is so cute. Like the first half is so cute and full of all these like great aesthetics. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot that this turns into a horror movie, and I'm scared of boats. Like I don't even, why am I writing? And I was like, why am I writing about cruise ships? I don't even like boats. But Araminta doesn't like boats either. So
I like cruises. I love cruises. I went on a cruise this year.
Really? Okay.
So I'm gonna be all okay. I work for police. I love cruise ships. This is gonna be my book.
Yeah, this is your jam though. Like this is right up your alley.
I had purple hair at one point. I don't know if you know that, but I did. Okay. back when. But yeah, no. Oh my God, that's so exciting. Araminta's gonna jump at that. Jump at that. I saw the portraits, and then I saw the first one, and I was like, yes, that's my man. And then you posted one with a beard, and I was like, no beards.
It was so divided. I can't believe how divided it was. I thought that there would be more of like a general consensus. It was like 50. But like it was so half. People were like, oh my God, absolutely the beard. People were like, absolutely no beard. But the thing is that he does have a beard in the epilogue, and I'm like, well, I kind of stuck myself with a guy with a beard, but at one point, I am going to have him shaved. I've written 15 chapters. He hasn't shaved yet, but he does need to, because I also commissioned art from other artists. And I was like, you can draw him with a beard or not. I don't care. And I was like, oh, wait, that means I actually have to like make him shave, because he has a beard in the epilogue. And like, there's other art that he does have a beard. And I'm like, okay, now I have to make him do both. It's just, I wanted my artist to be like, draw whatever you want. I don't want you to feel like you have to draw a beard on him, which means I have to make him shave.
Okay, well, Araminta could be like, oh, I did an ad for this shaving cream. Or this razor. Let me shave you.
I can see like Araminta, he like shaves on the cruise or whatever, and then he steps out, and Araminta just being like wide-eyed and like drooling over him, like, oh my gosh, I have to pull myself together, you know? That's like, I could so see her falling all over that. Yeah.
I can't wait.
So fun. So for everyone who's listening, when is your third book due? Or like, I know you're still writing it, but when is it going to come out tentatively?
So my goal is June or July of 2026. I just haven't set any pre-order dates. For one, I feel like a lot of my readers who like to pre-order print editions, and since this book is indie, and like there's it. You pretty much, as an indie author, can only put up ebooks for pre-order. I feel like my readers are going to be like, well, I want to order the print. So I'm probably not going to do a pre-order until I can put up the print. And for indie authors, you have to wait until you have the exact final file before you can put up a pre-order. They don't let you just put it up and like give the files later. It has to be absolutely done and ready to go. So that is a little frustrating because I feel like those are what my most of my readers want. They want the print copies, especially if they've already or they want Kindle Unlimited, and so that having a pre-order doesn't help. So I know some readers like stress out because like, I want it up for pre-order. I'm like, yeah, but I don't have the thing you want. Like you can't download it until release date for Kindle Unlimited, and I can't put it up for pre-order for print for like a long time. So bear with me. The best thing that readers can do to make sure that they do know when it goes up for pre-order is to get on my newsletter. And another reason why I'm trying to like not get like I want to make sure for sure I know exactly when this book is coming out is because my traditional publishing deal where I have edits that could like I could get like edits tomorrow and be like, okay, so for the next like month you have to work on this other book, and I'm like, oh, okay, like that's just it's been a big change. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm adapting and I'm not setting myself up to like get stuck in any corners where I'm like, okay, well now I have to finish this other book like at the speed of light. But I feel pretty confident that it could come out in June or July.
So it's gonna be my cruise ship read for my vacation next year.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right, one last question. So, fun words. 3 words to describe elegance and espionage in like a fun way.
Oh, in a fun way. I feel like I like thought about something really boring. What would I? Oh, well, I guess I would just say chaotic contract marriage.
Oh,
because I mean, Araminta is very chaotic, and she's like. I feel like she's a character who I don't really have to like, because my other characters are kind of like Edwina is more, she comes from human society, and in Daphne, she's trying to fit in with human society. Araminta is like
just a book page.
She's her own thing. She's not like, so I feel like I've been able to be a little more like modern with her, like a little more modern language, and not like she doesn't like she's not holding back. Yeah. She's like she is who she
was just born. She's a baby.
Yeah. She is such like a firecracker. So I feel like she's been like she is such chaotic energy, and I feel like I can absolutely let her just do whatever she wants and be.
I'm so excited for this book.
I know. I can't wait. I'm gonna be like chomping at the bit now for it to be June and July. I'm like, right.
Araminta is so, oh my god, yeah. I loved how she was like, well, I just hatched yesterday. I was like, and Daphne was like, well, she's flying around with her little paper sprite wings and like sitting on my head. I was like, oh my god, that is like the best thing ever. I love her roasts too. Please tell me she roasts him at least a couple times.
Yes. Oh, there will be banter for sure.
The way that she was with Daphne, she was like, "Oh, you suck." I was like,
"I know." Yeah, she doesn't hold back.
No,
not at all. It was so refreshing to read her, though. Just like she does not care.
Yeah, all of her scenes made us laugh. It was so funny.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Thank you so much for coming on today and for interviewing with us. And
thank you for having me.
So much fun. It was just so much fun to talk to you. And I am sure we will try to maybe have you on again after E&E, because we're going to need to do all the ranting. But yeah, thank you for being such a good sport. And you are our first author.
Yay!
So breaking us out into the little digital world here. So
oh, yay.
Maybe helping me getting some, author connections.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate you. We love the worlds that you create, the way that you write. You're an amazing author, and we're just so grateful for you. So thanks for giving us
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Short and funny behind-the-scenes conversation.
I was gonna comment, but I didn't. You're repping my city.
I know.
Boston shirt on.
My aunt was like, why? My aunt was like, why the fuck do you have a Boston shirt? I was like, because that's where I dream about living. The dream. I'm manifesting.
Manifest. Get here. It's fucking hilarious that you were wearing a Boston shirt the whole time, because then I didn't realize until halfway through, because I could only see the top of it. And I had told her, I was like, oh, well, there's fall in Boston. And then you're like, Boston. I was like, this is so funny.
I manifest. I told my husband, I was like, we're gonna retire there. Like that's where I want to be. Like, you know, so
please live near me.
I would love it. I would be obsessed with it.
We're gonna be in our 60s and podcasting in the same room for the first time.
I could so see it, girl. We're gonna do this. This is gonna be a long, slow career for both of us, and we'll be 60 and interviewing people. It'll just change.
Yeah, I'll be like,
oh my gosh,
my best friend is finally living in my city, and I'm meeting her in person for the first time in 35 years.
We sound so crazy. Like if you were to hear like how we met and how our podcast started, and we've never physically met each other, like.
Well, I told you the girl that I'm friends with, that I write with. I've been friends with her since 2013. We've never met in person. But we send videos and we write together and we chat. We send birthday gifts, like Christmas gifts. Like, we're best friends too, but I've never met her in person. She lives in Delaware, which isn't even that far away.
No, it's not.
But
I love it. Well, I love you. Thank you. Hopefully, let me know how this goes. I'm excited to watch this episode.